I'm Brian Professor E. Davis. This is your San Francisco 49ers report on Niners Radio, part of the Arena Sportsnet Bay Area. As the road to Miami begins for your San Francisco 49ers this Saturday, the San Francisco 49ers will be getting ready for their first ever playoff game at the Mecca at Levis Stadium as they'll take on the Minnesota Vikings, who were winners in their upset over the New Orleans Saints 26-20 in overtime on Sunday, as Kirk Cousins and the Vikings will come to the Mecca to take on the 49ers for the NFC Divisional playoffs this Saturday afternoon. Coming up, it'll be a 1:35 kickoff time. The game will be seen on NBC, and the look at that for the game, the Niners opponents, to just a quick look at the scoreboard. Vikings won that game 26-20 in overtime as they knock off the Saints. The Saints lose another heartbreaker on the final play, either in regulation or in sudden death overtime. Kirk Cousins, 19 of 31, 242 yards, a touchdown. Davian Cook, 28 carries for 94 yards. He averaged 3.3 yards. He had two rushing touchdowns. Adam Thielen, 7 catches, 129 yards, averaging 18.4 yards, as Kirk Cousins connected with Kyle Rudolph for the game-winning touchdown in the overtime frame. So with the Saints, the lowest seed, they'll come out to the Bay, to the Mecca, to take on the 49ers with the best record in the NFC, with the top seed home field advantage, 13-3. That will be their opponent this coming Saturday. And then in the other divisional playoff game on Sunday, the Seahawks beat the Philadelphia Eagles 17-9. Russell Wilson threw for 325 yards. DK Metcalf, the rookie, 7 catches for 160 yards. So now, as a result of the Saints losing their opening round of the wild card, the Seahawks will now travel up north to take on the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field next Sunday. Then in the other half on Saturday, the wild card games, it was the Tennessee Titans upset the New England Patriots 20-13. Derrick Henry, 182 yards rushing. He averaged 5, and the Titans as a team rushed for 201 yards, averaging 5 yards a carry. And the question to speculate, is this the final game for Tom Brady in a Patriots uniform? The Patriots, by the way, lose their first home playoff game in 7 years. First time in 7 years they lose a home playoff game. First time they lose an opening round playoff game in 9 years, since 20, I believe that's in their first opening of any kind since the 2010 season, 9 years ago, when they lost to the Jets. And also they lost in the wild card game to the Baltimore Ravens 10 years ago as well. And then in the other game, the Houston Texans beat the Buffalo Bills 22-19. The Bills blew a big lead, as 19-0 lead, as the Texans come back to tie it, they come back to score 16 unanswered points. They were down 16-0, and then the Bills were able to tie it with a field goal in overtime, but then as the Texans win it in overtime. Deshaun Watson had 302 all-purpose yards, and then Josh Allen threw for 264 yards. He had 356 yards, all-purpose yards. So in the AFC, it will be in the divisional playoffs this coming weekend. It will be the Texans will go to Kansas City. They'll take on the Chiefs. That's at 12:05 p.m. Pacific on the West Coast. That will be on CBS. Then the Seahawks will take on the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. 3:40 is the kickoff Pacific Standard Time. That will be on Fox, the exclusive network home of Super Bowl 54 in Miami come February the 2nd. Now let's just take a look at the Niners and the Vikings in the all-time. The Niners are 4-1 versus Minnesota in postseason. And people also remember the one loss. I think Niner fans will remember the 1987 divisional playoff debacle with the Niners, who came in there with the best record in the NFL, 13-2 in that strike-shortened season. The 49ers end up losing to the Vikings 36-21. Anthony Carter put on a pass-catching clinic, 227 yards of receptions, and Jerry Rice in that game only had 2 receptions for 20 yards. That was a game that Niner fans remember. The Niners were clearly the best team with the best record, at the top-ranked offense and defense in all phases and categories and total point differential. And the Vikings, who was not awed or intimidated, came into the stick and took it to the 49ers. And that loss abbreviated throughout the entire 49er organization, and it's significantly in remembering that Eddie DeBarlo stripped Bill Walsh of his team presidency, which started the feud, and then Montana, probably perhaps his worst performance in the postseason, was yanked in the early part of the third quarter for Steve Young, which started that huge quarterback controversy in 1988. But the Niners were able to use that as motivation, because the Niners were going to beat the Vikings twice in 2 other divisional playoff games. In 1988, they defeated the Vikings in a revenge game in the divisional playoffs 34-9. Then they would beat the Vikings again 41-13 as Montana obliterated the Vikings' top-ranked defense, as the Niners were going to cruise on their way towards winning back-to-back Super Bowls in that 2-year span. And they beat the Vikings in the divisional playoff as well in 97. The Niners winning 37-22 out at Candlestick Park. So, let me also remind you, also for 49er fans in the city, we'll have a watch party over at, this will be at the Spin Bar. They'll have giveaways, raffle prizes presented by SAP Sports Entertainment. And that will be the watch party at, once again, it will be at the Spin Bar. And the watch party will be presented by SAP Sports Entertainment, located at 690 Folsom Street in San Francisco. And hey, Niner fans, Niners are in the playoffs. The best way to get to the game is by Valley Tavern Niners bus. Valley Tavern is located on 24th Street in Noe Valley in San Francisco. And the bus ride to the game, $60, get you a full round trip to Levis Stadium, including beer, wine, snacks, on both ways. Bus will depart 2 hours before game time for every home game. Reserve your spot or call for more information, 415-285-0674. That's 415-285-0674 to have your reserved reservation. And a reminder, Niner fans, show your Niner pride in gear. Show your Niner pride. Go to the Niners team store to get all the 49ers paraphernalia, shirts and caps at the Niners team store. Niners team store located at their team flagship store located at 49 Marie DeBlaro Way in Santa Clara, and they're open at the stadium from Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on game days, they're open 2 hours before on game days. And if you do not have a ticket, you will not be allowed to go into the store on game days or do the duration of the game if you do not have a ticket. And they also, for 49ers, for tickets purchasing for future playoff games, tickets, Niners 415-464-9377. That's 415-464-9377. The Visa box office is open daily, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And you can go to Ticketmaster.com or NFLTicketExchange.com. NFL Ticket Exchange is a ticket partner of the NFL. We'll have more news throughout this entire week as we gear you up for the Niners and Vikings in the first ever playoff game at the Mecca at Levis Stadium this Saturday. And we'll give you all the news and updates and so much more. For the latest news on 49ers playoffs, information and so much more, go to 49ers.com. I'm Brian Professor B. Davis for your 49ers playoff report. The road to Miami begins for San Francisco this weekend on Niners Radio. 49ers football, faithful then, faithful now.